Welcome to On the Spectrum. I'm your host, Terri Matthews, and this is the show where we like to inform you, entertain you, and yes, encourage you about all things autism. So every Tuesday is a do-it-yourself project, and we have one that's so awesome. We're hoping it's going to bring out the creative genius in you. We have our friend coming back, Stephanie Graaf. Stephanie,
Hello,
I'm
Terri.
so glad you're here.
Thanks for having me.
All these years of experience, you just keep showing us all these cool different things, and that's why we love you so much. So we're going to be making tap shoes for our Fred Astaire kiddos and Savion Glovers out there.
Right, our tap shoes for toe walkers. So
Tap shoes for toe walkers.
This
I
is
love
definitely a PT sort of strategy that I pull out a lot for my kiddos, but toe walking is something we see as a stereotypical type of motor impairment in a lot of our kiddos with autism.
Jaden did it for quite a long time.
Yep. So again, going back to sensory, right? So we know those senses, and we know now about proprioception, and we know about vestibular, our vestibular system.
And wait. Let me just say this, just in case, because in case nobody understood what proprioception is, or they might have missed some of our other videos. What is it? What is it exactly?
Proprioception is a sensory system that's located in our joints. Okay, so in our wrists, our ankles, our fingers, our legs, hips, and it tells our body, it sends information when we touch the ground, that information goes up through those little receptors to our brain, it organizes it and says, you know what, I'm standing up straight, or I'm lifting up this shoe. And it helps grade movement and force production and all that kind of stuff.
So that's important for you guys to understand this, because there's a method to our madness when it comes to creating these tap shoes.
Right. So sometimes our kids with autism, we know that they don't process their sensory systems the way in which is typical sometimes, and sometimes sensations become too much, or sometimes they need more. Right. So the toe tap, the tap shoes. For those kids that are toe walkers, this is a fun tool to encourage heel strike, which is something that you're not getting when you're walking on your toes.
That's pretty cool. And let's show our audience out there, they can kind of take a look at what this looks like. So this is actually just a washer.
These are plumbing washers obtained from your local hardware store.
This
and
is a
painter's
tape. So
and
this is actually a project that's like less than $5, you would say?
A couple dollars, if that.
Oh, I love it.
Yes.
And these are shoes that every kid ought to have.
Yes. Right. So I do.
We hope you do.
I want you to know that not every toe walker has autism.
Right.
And not every child with autism is a toe walker.
Right.
So if your child is a toe walker, this is a fun strategy to decrease that. And why toe walking is bad? Let me just give you the physical therapy reason.
Yeah,
for that.
teach us, because I might need to know if I'm standing in them hills, I'm just kind of toe walking when I'm in hills, right?
It's not a good position for the foot to be in.
Okay.
The foot it shortens the muscle of the back of the leg, which is the Achilles tendon, which most people have heard of.
Yes.
And when that gets shortened, you can have a whole host of problems going up the whole lower half of your body.
That's
Ankle,
interesting to know.
Knee,
Christian
hip, and
Louboutin
back.
is not going to be happy that you said that.
No, I know, I'm sorry. So these types of shoes are actually great. So if you have a toe walker, you want to encourage shoes that are flat.
Okay.
Which is great. Or a high top is great, because if they walk on their toe, that little muscle, that Achilles tendon is going to get pinched, because this firm structure is back here. So it's not going to be comfortable. So if you don't have access even to what we're doing today, and you have access to a flat shoe or a high top, that's a good solution.
Okay.
But this is a super fun and creative way to encourage that good heel toe pattern.
So how hard is it? Here, and by the way, we're not advertising any of these brands. These just all happen to be Jaden's shoes. And this is for any age group, right?
Any age group.
Do you see toe walkers in adults or teenagers or kids who regress in autism?
Sometimes we do, and I want to say back to the point about being a toe walker. Early walker, so when a child is evolving into becoming an independent walker, sometimes they will walk on their toes. If they go beyond 2 years, that's when you want to let your doctor know about it.
And 2 years, guys, 2 years.
And that's when you might want to seek out the professional experience of a physical therapist or a podiatrist or someone who can help with that, because that is not typical. We don't really like to encourage toe walking beyond 2 years.
Okay, that's important to know. So that's good, because we don't want everybody thinking, because when you have new kids that are learning to walk, they all kind of walk on their toes. So that doesn't mean your kid's on the spectrum, but again, after 2 years.
After 2 years, and it's definitely a discussion to come to. But in the meantime, you can practice the strategy, because sometimes our kids aren't diagnosed before the age of 3.
That's very true.
Right.
So show me, how hard is this project?
All right, grab a pair of shoes.
Okay, any pair.
Any pair, yeah. And you want to find washers that, are appropriately sized. So you can use these, or even these are fine. And you want to put it on the heel.
Okay.
Okay, and I'm going to get you some tape here. And you just want to make sure And I do recommend the painter's tape or a masking type of a tape. You kind of wrap it up and around as I did in this one.
Okay, so up and around. And this doesn't bother the kids at all?
No, because it won't really come in contact with their skin.
Here, let me see. I might need an extra piece of tape.
Yep.
And you can actually layer this, that's okay?
Yeah, so I have multiple layers on this because sometimes, you know, especially in a school, these floors are a little dusty.
So that your kids can wear these at school.
Yes,
and
so
it wouldn't
I
create
use
an
this
issue.
strategy a lot for the students in the autism support classroom that I work with.
Okay.
So they adore this because the hallways are long and it's a great opportunity to practice that heel-toe walking.
Okay.
And it has a lot of therapy value to this.
So that was pretty quick, and that's
Super
easy.
easy.
Does it come off when they walk? Like, does the tape kind of sometimes,
No,
or it cling?
sometimes you might have to reinforce it. I always leave my teaching assistants with an extra roll.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Okay, so show me how this works.
So a toe walker is going to typically land on the forefoot or the top of their shoe, the bottom of their shoe. And what this encourages, if you land on the heel, which is proper form for walking, it's going to give that tapping sound, right? So they're walking down the hall with their tap shoes.
That is pretty cool.
And I have to say, you know, it's that auditory feedback they get. They're getting a cause and effect, and it's very fun and enjoyable. But you're also providing a very critical therapeutic intervention.
Thank you so much, Stephanie. We are so
You're so
blessed to
welcome.
have you here at On the Spectrum because you always give us these cool ideas, and they're very budget-friendly
Yes.
and time-friendly and family-friendly.
Yes.
So I'm so grateful
And you
for
can
that.
definitely have the whole family involved in
Yes,
this one.
I
Because
love it.
everybody can put their tap shoes on.
We'll just have our own dance class at home.
yes.
So now if you're interested in trying this project at home, please log on to www.terrimatthewsonline.com. You can download the resources and the step-by-step instructions, and you can give this a try right in the comfort of your own home. That's all the time we have today. See you next time on The Spectrum. So what I love about these tap shoes is that, look, it's like super easy. You just,
Yep.
and it's all kind of sizes, and washers don't cost a whole lot.
There's 50
And I
cents.
like that.